Welcome into Packers Total Access Live. I am your host, Jacob, aka The Beard, aka, well, Rusty. We'll go there later. I'm co hosted with Mr. Emilio, or Excelio, as he is known. If you guys can tell, we are not Clayton. We are not Tim. We decided that we're going to boot those guys off the stream, take a little control. We're going to try to do a seventh round mock draft, right? And then we're going to look over some late round gems, maybe about guys that are going to make it past the fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round. More importantly, Emilio or Exilio, how are you today, sir?
I'm great. Got rained out a little bit, fought through, got the yards mowed, and going to be disassembling this thing and waking up at 3 a.m. to head to Green Bay. So I'm pretty stoked.
What time does your flight get in? You're flying, right?
Yeah. We're getting in around noon, I think.
Okay. And are you on the same trip or the same flight as Clayton and them?
I think we're gonna meet up. He's leaving out of like up higher in Tennessee, so we're gonna meet up. I'm pretty sure in Chicago, so I'll be sure to wear something with a G on it and see how we do.
Yeah, try not to get stabbed while you're there. That'd be a good start. Just saying. So, guys, bear with us if it does start getting kind of glitchy because I'm using my computer and not the NASA supercomputer that Clayton has. So we're going to try to go ahead and make this work. If it doesn't, again, just bear with us. But if we have to, worst case scenario, we'll maybe just kill the stream and you guys can make fun of us for the rest of eternity. But that being said, we can get right into it here. We've got a full seventh round mock that we're going to do, obviously, as the Packers. Did you want to do any like trade or anything right away before it starts? Like maybe get rid of Ja or a Malik Willis or anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I was going to ask you if you had a percentage on that Ja deal. Anything getting squared away with Ja before the draft. Like, what do you like? 5%, 3%? I just don't. I don't see it. You know.
I don't see anything happening, to be honest. I think it's not worth it for them until after the draft. I think there's just so many more opportunities, especially with teams that are wide receiver needy. Or I'm sorry, that would be cornerback needy if they don't get the guy that they were looking for. You know what I mean? So I just feel like or if it comes down to it, that's if they cut him, I would just hate to see him cut him. I think that'd be not my worst fear, but my least desirable outcome.
Yeah, just like that used car last night, dude. I want to get something out of it. I'm not trying to just send it to scrap. And I think, maybe we've been thinking a lot of like getting picks this year, getting something this year. What if he's just looking to, hey, maybe we'll pick up a later one, this year, but I want something pretty decent for next year. If you ask for a second or a third or, an early fourth next year, it's a lot easier than trying to get a second or third this year. So I think that may be, something they try to dive into.
Okay. I did real quick, and then we'll get this ball rolling. I saw an interesting scenario that I wanted to get your kind of your input on. It was talking about how Pittsburgh has the 21st pick, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's talking about how Shedeur could be sliding. That might be a place for him to slide into. There's also lots of talks about teams that want to move back to get themselves draft capital. Now, one of those teams just happens to be Pittsburgh, who picks at 21, and then they don't have another pick again till 83. And then they don't have another pick until 123. So the scenario was they're picking at 21. Let's say, for instance, that Shedeur has either been taken or there's just no other player that the Steelers are really excited about at 21. And let's say a guy like Tet or Inter player here that you just think is absolutely amazing and you want to go up. Would the Packers then look to entertain a trade up with Pittsburgh to move up 2 spots? Pittsburgh then gets to kick back a few spots, maybe picks up probably a third or something like that, maybe a second or a third. That way they're in a better position so that they can take a swing on maybe a Jackson Dart or a Milrow and actually justify it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a possible. I was listening to, I think it was the All 32 podcast or something. They went through a first round mock. They were pulling some crazy. They had Travion Henderson going before Omarion Hampton. They had Matthew Golden sneaking in at the end. I think that they also had the Browns trading back in with Minnesota right behind us because Minnesota's only got 4 picks. So have them trade in right behind us. They've already picked up Travis Hunter. Now they actually get Shedeur. And I mean, Prime is happy. They're both back together. They can both go take over Cleveland. That'd be a big selling point for sure. But I I think it's tough. Like we talked about last night, there are a lot of teams that want to go in reverse, not a lot that want to go and drive.
Exactly. Yep. Brambo09 says that fourth would be the most we'd give up for 2 spots. I was wondering, I didn't have obviously the Rich Hill or whatever chart in front of me to do that math, but I would think that sounds, I don't know, moving up 2 spots in the first, you think they'd only get a fourth? I feel like they'd at least probably want a third, right?
Yeah, I would say, you're going to ask for the moon and take what you can, but I would definitely try to push for a third. Even they had Carolina, I think, jumping the Jets so that they could get I think that Mason Graham fell or something. And so it's like all these different scenarios, and we really haven't even kind of dove into, we never did one where we sort of just jumped around the board and did a full, 32 team first rounder. But I just think there's so many different scenarios that could happen that it's just, I just can't wait. The fact that it's closing in, 2 days is unreal.
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, all right. You ready to get this party started here, buddy?
Let's get it humming.
All right. We're going to start the draft. So, with the first pick of the NFL 2025 draft for the Packers, they have on the board available Mr. Walter Nolan, Malachi Starks, Mike Green is there, Luther Burden III, James Pierce Jr., Matthew Golden, Gray Zabel, Trey Amos, Scourton, Connerly, and Shamar Stewart. That's a pretty big grouping there of guys that I would be totally fine with. Do we need to discuss this much? It looks like the chat's going pretty hard right now about Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I was gonna say, like what Greg Rest is saying here, we have now, I know myself, I know you, I know Tim, we all got our guys, and we kind of have a certain pathway that we tend to draft. Like, should we try to intentionally go a little off the wall with this one?
I wouldn't be opposed. Like taking Shamar Stewart or taking like a tackle or something. What are we talking about here?
At this point, I would want to take
Burden.
I would either want to take Mike Green, Luther Burden, or James Pierce Jr. to kind of throw a little wrench in the spokes.
Okay, so Mike Green, Luther.
All right, let's do this. Are you able to access the board without getting it all wonky?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one of them's best on our board?
Okay.
Green, Burden, and Pierce.
Green is 18. Pierce is 12. And you said Burden is 28th. So it would be Pierce. We took him on that other draft like late in the third, but I mean, you think about it, wide receiver and edge are probably, some of the top highest, like that position is going up in price. So you would think that you'd want to try to chase down somebody that's going to, help your pocketbook for 4 years. And I would think that would be edge and, following that up with, with a receiver. But again, remember, Goody pulled Morgan from the 38 on the consensus or something like that. So he's not afraid to go outside the numbers of, wherever he's at, 23 or whatever, and take the pick.
He kind of did that with Quay too, didn't he?
Yeah, right. Quay wasn't even Quay was in the 50s or something. I feel like it would be like, you take TJ Sanders here just because you wanted to lock the guy up. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I don't know, man. I think that I'd be more comfortable either taking. I don't think they would take Luther Burden in the first. You know what I mean? For the first time since Javon Walker, that it's Luther Burden. Nothing against Luther. He's grown on me quite a bit.
What if would they take Gray Zabel just because he's the absolute?
See, that's another one where I was going to say I wouldn't be mad at that pick at all. I really wouldn't.
He's 6'6" and just an absolute utility knife?
He's a utility knife. He can play any position on there. Oh man,
I think I'm going to let you take the first. You can take the first poll. I would say Gray Zabel, or Gray Zabel, or honestly Connerly if we're trying to take a tackle. We're trying to break outside the box here.
Here's an interesting wrinkle. We have 9 trade offers. The earliest one though is Philly at pick 32. Do we trade back so that we are the last pick in the NFL draft? Which I'm sure that means we could acquire at least probably a third and a fourth, I would imagine. if not more.
Let's
I
do it.
mean, you want to
Let's
do it?
Yeah, and we'll just end the first night of the draft in Green Bay, just screaming.
If
They'll
we could
probably
actually
give us
pick up,
that third. No way. Really?
I just feel like, do you think that's realistic? Nah,
give
they
them,
won't.
you got
No,
to
not
give
even close.
you got to give them like 190 if you're going to take 64 or like 159 or something.
No, I think they'll do this straight up. Just
Right.
add a second because that makes sense. We're moving back almost 10 spots in the first.
That's fair.
I'm gonna do it. Shebaigan. All right. So now the problem is, who did we lose in that time? Mike Green, Malachi, and Wari. Grace Hable just went. Luther Burden went right before us. But look at who's on the board, baby.
So right now they would take Nick Scourton. You know what I mean? Like it would be something completely out of left. We wouldn't be expecting
Right.
it, but go ahead and take the other A&M. And I wouldn't be mad at it, honestly.
I think you have to go Nolan though, right? He's still there at 32. I mean, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you have the first round. I'm supporting you. I would think Goody would probably pull the trigger on Nick. I think he would probably pull the trigger on Nick Scourton here and say, "Hey, I can't believe we lucked out and got him at edge."
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that. Do you you don't have any of that fancy jingle music, do you?
Oh, I do.
First pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select.
Where is the draft font?
Walter Nolan D-line. There we go. That was beautiful. Perfectly timed. I don't think anyone could have done it better.
All right. Let's see. Okay, now we take.
We are now on. We are at pick 54. Now you're what?
Now we take TJ Sanders.
But you want to go back-to-back interior D-line?
Oh, we could get my running back finally. We could get our boy Dylan Sampson and bring him into town.
Stop. Oh my Lord, stop it. To me right now, the person that's jumping off the screen is Jack Besh.
Where do we have Besh?
I absolutely love Jack Besh, and to my knowledge, we have not taken him on almost all of the mocks that we have done.
No, we have
anything recently.
63rd on our board as well.
63rd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I absolutely do not like Alec Eamoniar.
Okay. What does edge look like?
Well, let's take a peek.
Let's take a gander over there.
I like Jared Ivey. I just feel like he's not a fit for our system. Same with Josiah Stewart. I think I like Jack. So I feel like I like the edges that we could get in the next round. You know what I'm saying? Or with the next pick. Yeah. I like Robert Sawyer and Gallote and Birch and Savion Jones. All of them right there in that same little pocket. So I don't know if I'm in on edge. Where do you got Demetrius Knight Jr.?
Demetrius Knight Jr. He is 82nd on the board.
82nd. Yeah, somebody brought up corner. We got to definitely check corner. Okay. We still got some options here.
You know what they were saying in a pod was that Jacob Parrish kind of reminds them of Ja coming out, like how sticky he was as a corner. They said that Jacob Parrish kind of reminds him of that.
Okay. And remember, we did pick up another second, which is massive because I love the availability of absolute talent in the second round. So we're picking obviously here at 54, but then we will pick again in 10 picks at 64. Then we got 87. Man, where do you have Azare Thomas?
67th on the board.
And Porter? Darian Porter?
Porter is 70th.
Man, everybody's just a little bit out of our zone right here.
Jack Sawyer is 50th on our board. So it according to the board wouldn't be
Jack Sawyer is?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, we could even try to. Man. All right, chat. Let us know Let us know in the chat. I think we got some people saying Porter, Besh, Zaria Thomas, Morrison.
Porter
I feel like
actually
we can
does-
wait and come back.
Porter has a pretty good card, Jacob, in college football. He's got a 98 overall card passed to the draft, man. And I mean, he is pretty nasty.
And that is what's important. Yeah. I'm for some reason I really want to take Jack Besh right here.
All right.
Also Trey Harris. Where's Trey Harris and where's Jack Besh? We'll make the choice there.
Besh was 63rd and Trey Harris is 53rd.
Should I jump up and take Trey?
According to the board, I also like Jaden
I feel like
Royals there though too.
I don't like Royals there. I think I'm gonna go. All right, we said we're gonna be different. I'm gonna go Besh.
I like it. Oh, I forgot to get the chime.
I pulled the trigger on Besh. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
There it is.
All right. Let's see. Got it. No, we didn't. Almost. All right. Now we're moving into our round 3 pick, which is, or I'm sorry, we have our second round pick, which is at 64. So now we're in an interesting situation. I like the Demetrius Knight Jr. pick right here, kind of. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? We've got guys like Jared Ivey. If you want to get real weird, you got Emilio's Andrew Makuba, the safety out of Texas.
Mm-hmm. RJ Harvey.
Dude, I heard DJ Daniel Jeremiah loves RJ Harvey.
I think that's a steal. We have him on the 96 spot, but he met with the Packers. He's a threshold fit, Senior Bowl, and a captain.
Are you really trying to have us draft a running back in the second round while we hijack the stream? We'll never be allowed to steal it again. You know that, right?
I mean, you wanted to be different, so I've been pushing for a running back. I've been pushing for a running back this whole time. But
all right,
it'd probably be Porter.
You said Porter?
Yeah, if we're going by the board, but I would really take Dylan Sampson. Where we have him?
Get out of here! Oh my lord!
80th we have Dylan Sampson.
All right.
He's stressing. Jacob
I'm so glad that I have control of this draft because I feel like Emilio he'd have us down the river. I'm going Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State.
I like it. With
the second pick of the second round for the Packers. That was me making the sound. Yeah, you're terrible, but whatever, it's fine. We are now here at pick 83, which is round 3, pick 23. And CJ West ran right before us. I'm starting to get so did Terrence Ferguson. What do you think about Terrence Ferguson, the tight end out of Oregon? He's starting to grow on me a little bit. It's another one of Daniel Jeremiah's. I think he's got him as like his 4th or 5th ranked tight end, but says he's got all the tools to be a really good one.
Yep, he's actually just ahead of RJ Harvey at 94th. So that's not a bad one either if we were to actually go that route.
What the heck is this? What the heck is this?
Uh-oh.
Did we ever get an update on Jacob's ass tat from somebody called Packer Fan Total Access? I actually did. That's great. I did think about it, and even though I'm not going to be at the draft anymore, I actually just had a friend of mine reopen a tattoo shop. I might have to swing in there in the next couple days. I'll get that done before the start. If I get it done before the start of the draft, that still means I honored my bet, and we'll be good, right?
Yeah, if you just get it started, we don't need to have the finished product. Even if you just get
I'm not getting a freaking 6-hour piece here, Emilio. I'm getting a stick figure that says Emilio or something with a race car bed. This is gonna be a 13-minute tattoo. This ain't gonna be no barn breaker.
I like it.
All right, back to the draft. The thing that matters. Thanks a lot, Clayton, for getting us off the rails. Although we do this to him every episode, so
every episode,
I suppose it's fair. So best available according to PFF right now at pick 87 would be Xavier Restrepo. There'd be a tackle, Ozzy Trapilo, Chris Paul Jr., Elijah Roberts, Jared Wilson, I've heard a lot of good things about Lathan Ransom as well, the safety out of Ohio State, but
Yep.
I just don't think that I would be more shocked by anything on this earth if we took a safety in the first 4 or 5 rounds. Really in general, but if we took one in the first 4 or 5 rounds, my jaw would actually drop.
Yeah. Right here, looking at the board, I would say Jack Sawyer is the pull. The fact that he fell to the third, we still haven't gotten an edge. I think Goody's trying to, eye up some of those. I think, from the 30 visits and the, who they met with, all that, I think that we're trying to improve it. So that would be my take. I
like Jack Sawyer. I like that pick, and we haven't done it a lot, so I think that would fit with the theme of us trying to be a little different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to do it. I think I like your you've swayed me here. I'm going to go Jack Sawyer, which you said was around the 50th on our board.
Yes. Let me look. Yes, he was 50th.
Dang. Okay, that's a steal right there. I'm going to run that in.
Oh, man.
All right, so we now had a little bit of a gap there. We went from pick 87 to pick 124, and man, a lot of the talent just fell off pretty quick right here, as you can see in that big gap. Was there maybe a position that you guys want to check out first? We've hit what? Let's take a look at our actual picks. So Walter Nolan, just to recap here, with the first pick, we traded back with the Philadelphia Eagles, which could not believe that Walter Nolan was still there. That's an absolute steal of a pick. We came around in the second with our first pick and got Jack Besh from TCU, wide receiver. We got another second-round pick by trading back with Philly, and we decided to use that one on Darren Porter, the very sizable cornerback from Iowa State. And then we came back around in the third and decided to pick up Jack Sawyer with pick 87 when he was ranked 50 on our board, a whole round ahead of where we should have. So pick 124 in round 4. What are you thinking, guys? What are we thinking? Long snapper.
Tight end.
I wouldn't mind looking at tight ends.
It's got to be tight end.
Benjamin. I don't like that right now. Definitely don't like tight end right now. Stackbacker. Yep. That's about right. Jeez. I think O-line sounds. Let's just look real quick here. What are your thoughts on Miles Frazier?
Miles Frazier,
guard out of LSU.
Here we have him. I mean, he protected Jaden Daniels, so it's probably not terrible. We have him 103 on our board. Senior Bowl player, but doesn't look like he meets the threshold. But he had a -5 RAS, so he had a 9.0 plus. I mean, you're picking projections, right? 4th and on, pretty much. What's he going to project to be? I'm not mad at that. He's got Dylan Fairchild as well.
Yeah. So the thing is right here, I'm not the biggest fan of Frazier or Fairchild or Rivers or even McLaughlin or Willie or Brown. I get down to that area where I see either Chase Lunt, Crenshaw Dixon, Kandra. I like Jalen Travis. I feel like that we kind of missed the boat on offensive linemen that could really be studs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because
so do we want to waste a pick?
What do we have at tackles? Oh, that
tackles
is
are up here too.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I feel like Jalen Travis might not be a bad pick coming around in round 5. Luke Kandra is another one I like. I just feel like we need to add somebody into that offensive line. Somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What do you, man? Chat, help me out. I'm stuck here.
Tackle or corner looks like what we're getting chatted. We could go back to it.
We could go with Mello Dotson.
Mello, where do we have Mello? Mello is 1.
Or Aeneas Peebles.
8. Peebles.
What about Aeneas Peebles?
Peebles is 123. Packers did meet with him. He's just not a threshold.
Okay.
But Greg Cosell liked him at a -3, and he had a -1 RAS, so he had a 7+, or 7 to an 8. I mean,
Where do you got Jeffrey Bassa?
Bassa is 115. He had a
Ooh.
-5 at the Senior Bowl, so he showed out at the Senior Bowl. Had a 0 RAS.
We have
so
a 0 RA or just didn't have enough
zero
info?
zero meaning 699 or less.
Gotcha. Oh man. Somebody said I heard trade back with the Ravens, 5 picks. Should we do it just to see what the heck?
Sure, let's get a different set of names.
I just don't like this set of names here. We got Isaiah Bond. Barrett Carter. Where do you got Barrett Carter? Or Jack Kaiser? Let's decide. I'm gonna pull a trigger on one of these linebackers. It's either gonna be Bassa, which was at 115, Carter, or Kaiser.
Jack Kaiser is 160. Carter is 138. Bassa, it's got to be Bassa according to the board, and the Packers actually met with him.
All right, I'm gonna do it just because I feel like we're stuck in a rut right here, which is never great to just pick all that way. But all right, Jeffrey Bassa. Now we're into round 5, pick 23, 159 overall. Oof, cornerback Zay Alexander is the second best available according to PFF, followed by Ty Hamilton, Chase Lunt, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, quarterback Dylan Gabriel, quarterback Quinn Ewers, and then the tight end Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. Right now, what's jumping off the page to me? Ty
is 182 on our board. I think Za would be honestly the pick if we're going according to the board.
You said Zai?
He's 113.
Oof. I feel like that's
double up on corner.
Yeah, especially in this scenario. If this scenario included Jair being traded away, I think that'd be best bang for your buck. Although I think we absolutely lose out on any of the semi-decent offensive linemen. Where do you have Chase Lunt compared to Zai? We said Zai was in what, like 130s?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's ahead of him. Chase is 100 or 99. Sorry.
Oh, we gotta go Chase Lunt, right?
We always take Chase. We like Chase too much. I'm trying to get you out of your comfort zone.
All right. You're right. That's the point of this whole thing. Luke Kandra. Where's Craig Woodson?
215. Oh, he's way down.
Get out of my life. All right. Tell me where Luke Kandra is.
160, or I'm sorry, 152.
I kind of like that pick.
Yeah, that's not bad. He's like 8 spots behind Mitchell Evans, the tight end. But what's more important, O-line or tight end right now?
I want O-line. I think I'm going to go Luke Kandra. You cool?
Let's do it.
I know, you're not really great at your job. So we move now into round 6 with pick 22 for the Green Bay 2025 Packers. The best available right now is Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, Bryce Cabledew at tackle out of Kansas, Upton Stout, a guy I absolutely love, grades out of the you-know-what, but he's like 5'9", and he's a safety, so I don't see that there. Tyler Cooper, the guard out of Minnesota. Mr. Elijah Badger, the wide receiver from Florida that seems to be running up the charts, and Jod Joyner, edge out of Minnesota. Do any of these guys pop off the list to you right away, Emilio?
Dan Jackson, they've been talking about that safety a lot from Florida or from Georgia.
If you bring up safeties or running backs one more time on this draft, I swear.
I'm trying. I feel like it's who'd we take not last year, the year before? We took Lloyd last year. We took another one in the 7th round the year before. I mean, you're pulling the trigger on it. He didn't make the team, obviously, but you still got to give it a shot. Upton Stout, though, we have at 164.
Okay.
Who else is there?
What about Riley Mills? That's the guy that graded out really, really well
He's
earlier
3
in his career.
spots behind Upton at 167.
Gotcha. And where do we have Mr. Elijah Badger?
Elijah Badger is 241.
All right.
Yeah. Taking back-to-back corners, though, I think you should look at running back, man.
I swear. All right, let's do it. Let's look. Bishal Tootin. Where's he at on the board? Tootin. Where's Tootin at?
How am I spelling
that? Coach is talking about how Mills was hurt, but he's a steal.
Tootin is 108 on the board, and he fits the threshold. And he had a -5 RAS, and Greg Cosell gave him a -1. I think we take Tootin. I think we have to.
You're kind of. I mean, got to be honest. You don't seem crazy right here. I mean, round six. You know what? We want to be different. Gosh darn it, we're different. I took him.
That was the one time I got it on
nice,
online
of course.
too.
I was gonna say
the one time I did it right.
All right, you know what? I'm honestly not. I'm not mad at this draft right now. I'm really not.
See,
Greg's saying we need to look at cornerback and offensive line.
Okay, Greg, we'll take that into consideration. I appreciate that.
I actually think that's probably where I was going as well.
No way. Double dip.
No way. All right, let's take a look at what's here left at offensive line. Holland Pierce is an absolute giant of a man. Where do you have him on the list there?
Holland. 175.
Ooh, I like him a lot. He graded out real well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's not bad. Left tackle. He's like 6'7".
I mean, that's the Packers pick. You know what I mean? That would be a 7th round tackle that they would be like, hey, let's see what we can do here.
Let's give him it's a Rasheed Walker, shot in the dark again.
And Joshua Gray is 197. So,
and Clay Webb, where was he?
Clay Webb is actually 172. He's 3 spots ahead of Holland.
I still feel like we got a guard. We got a guy that's a true guard. I feel like we need a true tackle. You cool with taking Holland?
Take a 6'7" guy and see if he can beat out my boy, Mr. Glover.
Let's see if he has the audacity to beat out Mr. Glover.
I don't think he does, but we can bring him in. I love a good competition.
Sure. All right, with the 7th round pick, number 21 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Holland Pierce. He blew it.
Honestly, not too many hiccups. Surprisingly. All right, now we take a quarterback and get out of here.
You want a quarterback, my lord. You're just ready to burn this place down. Let's just look through here. Oh, my boy. Hey, Aronde Gadsden the second is there at tight end. We don't have a tight end. I mean, otherwise, what would you look at? There's Teddy Buchanan. Simeon Barrow Jr. is an interesting prospect that people have liked. Mac McWilliams. Did you see how high Daniel Jeremiah had him on his list?
Yeah. He moved.
Do you have that on the board by chance?
Yeah, he jumped way up on the hole. Let me see. DJ had him at 91. He jumped up our board so like 30 or 40 spots when that happened.
I'm not going to lie, man. And that's an intriguing pick to me right now. Mac McWilliams from UCF graded out real well last year, 81.6. Coverage grade at 84.8. Man coverage grade at 72.5. Zone coverage at 80.5. Played out wide most of the time. Emilio.
Packers met with him.
Talk me out of this. They did meet with him?
Yeah, Packers met with him. His PFF 22 is 197, 23, 517, 24. He was 49th. He only had a -1 RAS, though.
I see. Is there anybody else that's jumping off the page? Didn't Tim like Ricky White a lot?
He did.
Ooh, look at that. What? What's the deal with Ricky? Last year in 2023, he graded out a 90.5. Played all 14 games.
6 overall last year.
Holy shnikes. He had almost 1,500 yards receiving, averaging almost 17 yards per catch, had 8 touchdowns, was targeted 135 times. Where does this guy come from? I feel like that I want him on my team. He's
I think
6'1", 190? Bruh, I'm running that in. Why would I not run that in?
DJ
running
didn't
it
have
in.
him 33rd, didn't Dane Brugler had him 160 or 160-ish based on the average, and then RAS was a 0, so he was under a 7. But I mean, it's production at that point. The dude's, the dude's putting up stats. He's kind of making it happen.
I want it. I think that I'm going to take this with the last pick.
All right.
For the Green Bay Packers, round 7, pick 34 in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Green Bay Packers select wide receiver Ricky White.
Sitting at 149 on our board. I can't believe we did that. And Jacob can't believe it's not butter.
You just went full robot voice. I did not get that. Ooh. Look at the grades here, fellas.
Okay.
That's a solid A. We are in the top 34%. I like that. Okay.
We brought in a lot of competition at positions of need.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just recap there for those of you listening on the pod. Let's got the Packers mock draft here. In the first round, we decided we were going to trade back out of pick 23 and fall back all the way to pick 32 with the Philadelphia Eagles. We got then their second round 64 pick, which I think was, I like that a lot. With the 32nd pick, we picked Walter Nolan, the D tackle out of Ole Miss. That was an A+. Round 2, with the 54th pick, we picked Jack Besh, wide receiver out of TCU. That was also an A+. And round 2, we ended up using that second pick we acquired from the Eagles for Darian Porter, the cornerback out of Iowa State. We then came back in the third round with pick 87, and we got edge Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State, which I really, really like that pick. This is probably the one that I'm not too confident with, would be the round 4 selection, 124th overall, the linebacker Jeffrey Bassa from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That one felt a little forced. I think we probably took longer on that pick than most.
Yeah. But our last fourth rounder to Oregon turned out pretty well, Evan Williams.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Round 5, 159 overall, we got guard Luke Kandra out of Cincinnati. And then we came in round 6 at 198, and Emilio held us all ransom and said that you have to take Basho Tootin, the halfback out of Virginia Tech. And we came back in the 7th round with our last 2 picks. We decided to go tackle with Holland Pierce, the giant mammoth of a man from Rutgers, the tackle, the true left tackle, possible replacement for Walker going in the future. And then we ended the draft with round 7, 250th overall, which I really like this pick. Ricky White, UNLV, wide receiver, 6'1", 190, graded out rural well, had absolute stud of a season in 2023. We got an A. We were in the top 34% according to PFF in all of our drafts. I would consider that a successful draft, my friend. And
honestly,
we barely
glitched. Rounds, yeah, no, really though. The first 3 rounds were pretty clean. I was not mad at those. I think that would be something that you could get behind. And then really, like we talked about, it's projections after that. And that's what, like, you do a little digging, you see what you like, see if the tape works, see if the guy's going to be a fit, and kind of go from there. Don't you have your
definitely
your little nuggets there, Jacob, that you wanted to read off?
Yeah, we're gonna go through just a few. How are we doing on time? Oh, that's perfect. We're right at 40 minutes here. We're just gonna rattle through.
Give me their names, and I'll tell you where they are on the board.
Gotcha. All right. The first one that I wanted to look at was a guy named Ethan Downs, Oklahoma edge defender.
Yep. We have him 247 on the board, PFF 22, 114, 23, 138, 24, 117. PFF Big Board had him 240, consensus 280. And he had a -3 RAS. So that'd be 8 to 9.
All right. So next we got 2 interior defensive linemen that I've had a lot of people kind of talk about. One of them would be Nazir Stackhouse, the defensive tackle out of Georgia.
Nazir, we have him 213. East West Shrine, Packers met with him. PFF 22, 184, 23, 270, 24, 124. Big board, PFF 255. Consensus had him 144, actually. But he had a 0 RAS.
Okay. And then real quick, do you remember what Downs was? I'm going to write these down so at the end we can decide what the best value is out of all these steals. Ethan Downs again?
Downs 248, 247, sorry.
247. Gotcha.
And
all right. And the next one, interior defensive lineman from Florida, Mr. Joey Slackman.
Joey Slackman. Ooh, we have him 338 on the board. But I do see kind of what you're talking about here, Jacob. PFF 22, he was 28th. PFF 23, he was third best. 24, 336th. PFF had him 249, consensus 378. So yeah. I think you were probably diving into those first 2 years and seeing that production and those numbers. I mean, big school coming out of Florida. It's not like he's not playing against competition, right? So there could be one of them Jaden Reeds where he didn't have a great last year, but the years prior were nice.
Yeah, that's 100% my mentality. He was an 85-1 in 2022 and a 90.7 in 2023. He completely fell off in 2024. He had 7 sacks in 22, 6 sacks in 23, tons of hurries and pressures. I think that could be one to take to remember because I think he is getting coming off injury, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's his issue here. Where did you have him on your board or on our board?
Slackman, 338.
338. What about Mr. Elijah Ponder, an edge out of Cal Poly?
Ponder. Oh, that's with that the horse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We have him 273. He was a Senior Bowl participant. 22, he was 82nd. 23, he was 15th. 24, 250. PFF big board 282, and consensus had him 397. But we did give him a -5 on Senior Bowl. He must have crushed it. And then he got that Dane Brugler average of 192. I think that's a 6th rounder.
Okay. This is one of my personal favorites, kind of an underdog type. Joey Hobart, wide receiver out of Texas State.
Okay. All right. Texas State. We have our man here at 387. Nothing else on him besides the grades here of PFF 22. He was 35th, 23, 61st. Last year, 121. PFF big board had him 237. Honestly, Jacob, the only thing bringing him down on our board and tremendously is his consensus. He was 848 on the consensus board. And I mean, if I change that number to even like a 348, I mean, he jumps up over almost 100 points.
I mean, yeah, that's one that, and his grades starting in 2022 with significant snaps, an 82.8, an 80 flat. This last year took a small step back. It's 75.8. I don't know. He's definitely a slot guy, so that'd be probably one that wouldn't be as intriguing to certain people here. But okay, so that's definitely down the board a little bit. I know this is what favorite of yours, Luke Newman, left tackle / left guard out of Michigan State.
I did like him a lot. We have him 258. He did fit the thresholds. 22, he was 31st. 23, 5th. 24, 72nd. PFF big board had him 261. Consensus had him 247. No other numbers on him, but I did like his production there, man. From a big school, Michigan State, that's not a bad one late in the round. Feel like you get one of those kind of, Rasheed Walker snags. Like you were listening to Ryan's pod, was it today? Where he was going through. I mean, like you said, we got a deal on Rasheed Walker. That is the clearance rack. Let me put the yellow sticker on it and run it up to the cash register. And we have 2 out of the 5. So I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Real quick, Jacob, I just got to get this out to Rick. He keeps asking where to send it. So Clayton has a number you can text. It's 865-658-5824. I tried to put it in the notes or in the chat, but it wouldn't read. If not, you can also email PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com.
Yeah, what's that number one more time?
865-658-5824.
Gotcha. All right, cool. That sounds good. And Mr. Grinning Possum says, one note about Holland Pierce. PFN has him ranked over 200 spots higher than PFF. Great pick. I've had a lot of people that have said that was a guy that they watched, whether or not they were fans of Rutgers or whatever, that he popped off the film and that they thought he could take that step to be an actual starting NFL tackle, or at least give him the shot. And that is one thing that is weird. We tend to take a flyer on these giant tackles, Telfort, and who are the couple of guys we let walk a few years ago, just beasts, absolute beasts. There you go. Look at that.
We are efficient.
We're getting there.
I mean, this is what happens when Clay steps aside and we just take over this thing. We're cruising.
Sink or swim, baby. We got to swim. Last one here, and then we'll get out of here. Andrew Armstrong, a personal favorite again of mine, wide receiver from Arkansas.
Okay, Eric Armstrong. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen here. Armstrong is from Arkansas. Yes, he is. He is a threshold fit. We have him 252, Jacob. PFF 22, 33, 24, 23, 129, and 24 9th. PFF Big Board had him 190. Consensus 236. What's PFF got him now, Jacob? I'm guessing not 190.
Give me 1 second. I'll tell you.
We do have him as an RAS of a -3, so that would put him 8 to 9 range.
Sure. As of right now, PFF has him at 179.
So he's creeping up a little bit. I honestly thought he was going to be one of those that drops out of the face of the earth.
Here's the thing: is it's so weird because the guy's 6'4", 202, runs a solid 4.5. He, in 2024, played almost 700 snaps. He graded out as an 89.1. That's 9th out of 1,040 wide receivers, and I hear nobody talking about him.
Yeah.
He graded out a 81.9 in 2024. 23, his worst year, was a 75.8. That's not bad. 2022, almost 700 snaps, was an 82.9. He's got 3 solid years of production at a big school. I think he might be one of the most underrated wide receivers in this draft. Prince likes him too, it looks like here.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Yeah. That's not
well.
bad.
So we're going to wrap up here real quick, but we'll just highlight what we just went over. So Ethan Downs was 247. I think the best steal of this grouping of guys would be Nazir Stackhouse, the D tackle out of Georgia, who ranks at 213 on our board. He was an actual nose too, if I'm not mistaken. Like the guy actually is if we were looking for a type of TJ Slayton replacement,
right, that
might be the perfect candidate for where we would get him in the draft. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, you're not expecting a lot with the RAS, but he's a dog coming from a big program. You're looking for a gap filler there. I think that would be a perfect pull. And in the 7th round, again, it's all about projection. Can we get him to turn up into something? Him coming from a big program like that, I think it's possible. Yeah, he split time between A gap and B gap, but had almost 200 snaps at least in every single year he was at Georgia there. Run defense grade of 83.1, pass rush grade of 58.2, but that's not what you're asking that big boy to do. So that'd be a real specific type of position that he would fill. All right, man. Well, you got anything else that you would like to talk about, Emilio? Otherwise, I know you got to get to packing. I got to get to packing into bed. Me and Clay have like a 4 a.m. flight, and then we'll meet up in Chicago Airport, and then we're off to Green Bay. Hopefully we can. Hopefully I can like throw peanuts at him or something on the plane. Like we're not sitting that far away. But to Tony, Mr. Holman here, will there be a show from Green Bay tomorrow? As of right now, I don't think so. We do have dinner plans tomorrow night, but if we do, like maybe a midday show possible, but I think we're just going to try to take it and get there, get squared away. I'm going to take as many naps as I can from now until tomorrow afternoon, pretty much. I mean, be touching down in the motherland there at noon, so I'm excited.
Heck yeah, man. Is this the first time that you're going to be at the stadium?
No, this is my second time, but I already feel like I'm getting the jitters for it, just seeing that G over the horizon. And this would be my first time flying in. So going to be kind of, I mean, I know they talk about flyover country, but I like looking at it from the air. So I'm pretty excited to see it. Gotcha.
Prince is asking, Jacob, you going to run Saturday stream since you won't be at the draft? I would be down for it. I'd probably want to coincide. I thought about maybe reaching out to Ryan because I know he's going to be there for, I think, at least the first night, maybe the second. And then I know that he wasn't going to be doing much of a stream, even though he wanted to. So maybe we could meet in the middle, and me and him and Colin or something could do a fun little Saturday, while we get through the end of the draft. I personally love day 3. You guys know I'm a bargain bin type person, so that is where I feel like we can make some of the steals and absolutely it'd be fun, man. It'd be definitely fun to do a stream, because it's crazy. I think about this, dude. I've been doing streams, or at least part of the podcast network, for like 6 years now. Even just with Clay, it's been like 3 or 4. It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
That is wild. Time is absolutely flying. Dude, I can't wait. I really am.
What's cool too? Check this out, guys. Emilio.
Oh,
look at that. Dude, it had to be this big, and I can still barely read it. We have 500. How many prospects are on here?
560.
Dude, I got this on my break, and I had to go back and get it reprinted. And I brought it back, and I was just looking at it in my break room. And my staff came in, and they're like, "What are you looking at?" And I was like, "It's perfect." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "This is 2-3 months of nothing but analysis and blood, sweat, and tears." And
dude, putting it in that physical copy. So, like, here, pull yours up real quick, Clay or Jacob. I'm gonna pull up. This is the one Clay gave me last year. Look at the difference in these boards. I mean, like, you had to go what was it, 8x24 horizontal or something?
I think I had to go way more than that. Yep.
Like, you just got a 24x24 box. I mean, and like you said, you can barely still even read it with that. Like, you have to really focus on the players and stuff. But that's why we were trying the emojis. Let's see what works. See if we can't highlight the boxes, things like that.
Yeah, it was definitely props off to you again for all the work that you put into that thing. I was so nervous. I didn't want to even click on I don't know much about technology, shocker, right? And I thought that if I went into the Excel spreadsheet that because I've done this at multiple jobs. I'll be going in there like doing an inventory or something, and I'll just erase everything. And they're like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "I don't even know what I clicked. Everything's erased."
Clicking. Yeah, putting in numbers and clicking. No, I there's like 15 different I mean, you should see the media drive on this thing is unreal. I've just been making copies left and right, trying to pull just the horizontal board, just the draft board out, and then I make a new copy each time for the Patreon. So there is an updated one in Patreon. If you want to join, it is up in that corner over there. Patreon Packers Total Access. Google it. I mean, just go on Patreon, whatever it is. Everybody that has access to the $3 tier and up will have access to the board and all Clay's write-ups. And I'm excited for the draft. If y'all are there, hit us up in the Patreon group.
What is the last time to get our mock drafts submitted? Was it tomorrow night at midnight?
Yes. Yep. Tomorrow at midnight. I'm going to be doing it probably there with Clay and Tim. We'll try to run the numbers there. If not, I'm going to go with the one I probably did live. I like that one with Jade Barron. I'm going to try to.
That was a good draft. That was the second best draft of all the ones. Mine was obviously the best, but
there's four jerseys he's got to give away. I think one a day. Or 1 or 2 days. Yeah. So, I mean, we are I'm going to try to win one of them. I don't care if it's rigged, Eric. I'm trying to take one of them. I'm trying to get one of them things home. Okay.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, as somebody said in the chat, we have 2 more sleeps. I cannot even believe it's almost here. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Of course, as always, go Pack Go. We'll see you soon.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.